Hello everybody, this is the Lysol. Welcome to my new series of videos. I'm going to try and do them every Friday. It will be my recap of the last week of GAC. I will go over my matchups, how my battles went, how my defense held, and show some quick highlights of each matchup. So in week 1 of season 24, my first matchup, I was matched up against Wu Slayer of Poon. He was in a pretty big guild. His GAC stats were pretty underwhelming, but he had a sizable GP advantage over me. He had a mod advantage, which is rare, and his speeds in the mid-range were much better than mine, although my high-end speeds were pretty close to his. He had 100 more relics than me. 2 GLs, barely usable Bando, not so great Malik, Nest with low tenacity. He had a 5-star Malevolence, which was a function of him being in a smaller guild. Oh no, he was in a larger guild, so he only got a 5-star Malevolence, no Cat, no Maul, really slow Darth Revan, no Gideon, and no Executor. So let's take a look at the fights. On offense, he had a Padme, which I was able to take out with a Savage lead Darth Malik. I probably didn't need Savage, but I brought him anyway. I got 64 banners. We have a Night Sisters versus GG. This is my standard GG counter now. I kind of swap back and forth between GG and Bad Batch depending on how strong their General Grievous is. If it's over like 120k HP, I take Night Sisters. If it's under, I'll take Bad Batch. Got 60 banners, which is standard against GG. I took my EP Vader Mara Jade against these Relic Geos. I would normally do Treya against Geos, but these Geos were well past my Treya's ability to handle, so I was forced to use EP and Vader. He put down a Hux lead with Crew, and I brought in my JKR, was able to handily beat it for 64 banners. He did have probably the strongest Qui-Gon Jinn team I've faced yet, but without a JKA. So he had Qui-Gon GMY at Relic 8, JKL at Relic 6, Hermit Yoda, and General Kenobi at Relic 8. My plan was to bring in GG to kill Qui-Gon, since I would probably lose a droid or two and I'd be able to just focus down Qui-Gon with Skittering Horror. I was able to actually manage to kill Qui-Gon and Grandmaster Yoda with relative ease. But JML and Hermit Yoda and GK got me, but as you'll see, I was able to later clean it up. Then I had a JTR team, which was pretty quick. I don't normally have an answer to JTR, but I wasn't expecting a nasty Bounty Hunters or Night Sisters team on defense, so I brought my troopers in, got 65 banners in 43 seconds, was really, really quick. Here we got a Bosk against a Phasma lead with Kylo. I threw in Boba Fett Sign of Django because I wanted to use my Django elsewhere. Maybe he was on defense on a new team. He didn't really offer much at Gear 11 with just the Zeta, but I was able to get 64 banners pretty easily in 2 minutes. So then I went back to clean up his Qui-Gon Jinn. I brought in CLS, was able to do it with only losing protection on 3PO and Chewie and C-3PO. Easy cleanup. It was done in 35 seconds. I think I just blasted JKL out of there as quickly as I could. And then when it was just GK and Hermit Yoda, it really was nothing. He had a pretty decent Bounty Hunter team down with Relic 7 Django, Relic 5 Embo, and Relic 5 Cad Bane. I just brought in Darth Revan with Talon instead of Malik because I had used Malik on my on the effective solo against who was it? Against Padme here. Now that Padme solo, hinges on your Malik having more tenacity than their JKA has potency. So if you're going to try that, you got to make sure you got a pretty tenacious Malik. Because if they land the health immunity on Malik, you're screwed. You're done. Fleets were pretty easy. I got 69 banners against the Negotiator with my Malevolence. At the time, my Hyena Bomber was only 6 stars, so I was really excited that that worked very well. And I mirrored his Chimera with mine, but he didn't have a real deal Chimera fleet. It was Silencer, Command Shuttle, and Houndstooth with Vader as a reinforcement, and then there were some more First Order and Bounty Hunters as reinforcements. I brought in the traditional Empire fleet, and this is a great fleet, honestly. This is a highly underrated fleet. It can beat up on a lot of stuff, and it's great for a cleanup on Executor or something like that. Then there were Night Sisters. I undersized with gas. It was super easy. Got 66 banners. There was the CLS team, which was not overly impressive. No Chupio, no C3PO. So I brought in my Padme and Cat. I think at this point I had realized that I had brought a little too much for offense, and this was a real easy counter. And then, and I got 61 banners in 1 minute and 11 seconds, really quick. And then here, we've got a Grand Moff Tarkin team with some troopers in it. This was not a really great squad, and I just brought in my JKL with absolute garbage Jedi. As you can see, a Gear 10 Barriss, a Gear 10 Ezra, a Gear 9 Kanan, or a Gear 8 Kanan, and a Gear 8 Jedi Consular. I was able to get 61 banners in under 2 minutes. It was really quick. Now, normally here is when I would show you a clip of a highlight from this offensive phase, but I didn't start recording my battles for YouTube until the second matchup of this week, so I don't have any video of these. I suppose I could go back to my VOD stream and check it out, but I will not. Then let's look at the defense here. I put Maul down, and he one-shot it solo with SLKR in 16 seconds. I wasn't expecting him to bring SLKR against this, but he did. Honestly, taking SLKR with this crappy Maul team, that's a win, in my opinion. He took his Rey team against my Bando team, which also is crappy, so that's another win. 68 and 62 banners, not exactly sniping banners, but, you know, I got a few here. No big deal. My crappy crew team, he brought in his Vader lead with EP and Thrawn, 64 banners. So he lost a bunch of protection, but he got a couple of those banners back by undersizing it. My Geos, he brought in his kind of crappy Darth Revan team, and they beat up on it for 57 banners. Not having HK in here, I think, really screws him. I think he would have done it better banners if he had HK or Marauder in here, and he has Marauder. He brought in a Sidious lead with Marauder and Maul. I stole a few banners from it. That's fine with my Mon Mothma. My Mon Mothma team is not good, but as you'll see later, it actually got some holds. He brought in Newt, Watt, Dooku, Wampa, and Traya. He way overkilled this Rebel Rubbish team, like way overkilled it. I'm not sure why he did this. 63 banners. I feel like his Wampa could have killed this by itself, and he could have gotten 4 or 5 more banners that way. He brought in his JKR team, but not an ideal JKR team, with gas against my Newt, Dooku, Nest with Watt. I've been putting this team on defense a lot lately. It does okay. I mean, it stole 4 banners against JKR, so not bad. He brought in a Vet Han lead against my Karth team, and they stole a ton of banners. I'm not sure what he was thinking here. He actually beat up on my Qui-Gon with 3 clones. Just Rex, 5s, and Echo. Beat him in less than a minute, but I stole a couple of banners. This this is a banner stealing team. This is not a team I expect to get holds. It's not an ideal comp. The gear's not good. Aside from Shock T and Qui-Gon, the mods are pretty garbage. But it does okay. Then he brought in his Shock T against my crappy JTR team. All of these are wins for me because he's bringing in real teams to beat up on my really lowly geared stuff. He tried agree to lead bounty hunters against my Ewoks and failed in 1:24, so my Ewoks steamrolled them. And then he had to bring in Bo-Katan lead Mandalorians to clean it up. And this is where I've been getting the wins with the Executor on defense. He failed the Malevolence counter because he didn't use TIE Fighter. And then he failed with his Endurance against my Negotiator. All in all, that ended up being 1701 to 1361 for me. Alright, round 2 of week 1 of season 24. I was matched up against INE2P. I'm pretty certain I have faced this guy before in GAC. If you look at his stats, he's got some impressive legacy GAC stats. 53,000, 54,000 best score, 900,000 lifetime in legacy GAC. That's good. His offensive wins to defends, he's sitting just around 30% here. Very good. A good amount of clears, more than mine, but a very small amount of undersizes. As you can see, I actually had the GP advantage, which I don't normally have. I had the Zeta advantage, which I don't normally have, and I had a mod advantage, although a small one. But in my opinion, even a small mod advantage is very big. Now, he had me outgeared by quite a bit. His mods are okay, but not great. Mine are significantly better, in my opinion. He had no GLs, which is a first for me in the new GAC format. And he also didn't have JKL. He didn't really have a Bando. His Nest is okay. His Tenacity is not great, though. His GG's health is 150k. He has a 6-star Malevolence, and I'm pretty sure no Negotiator. Yeah, because he's in a really tiny guild, like 160 million GP. No Cat, no Maul, slow Darth Revan, slow Gideon, slow Piet, slow Echo. So he's missing some seriously key teams here. So let's go into this. On defense, I brought in a CLS versus JKR, 61 banners. I brought in my JKR versus his Newt, 63. I did my Traya with Talon against this Nest team. I was not certain this would work, but I actually came away with a victory. Decent banners too. 59 is not bad for a Traya. Usually I get 58, 59, 60 banners with Traya against most things, so that was a good win. I undersized Darth Revan against his Darth Revan. Didn't bring Malik, so I could use Malik elsewhere for 62 banners. I soloed his Karth team with Kylo for 69. My troopers laid waste to his Night Sisters, as they always do, for 65. Undersized Gas, his Phasma team, was super easy. I ended up using my Vader against his crew team and crushed it for 64 banners. I only lost protection on Mara Jade. He set his Malevolence and his Endurance on defense, so I brought my Negotiator and my Malevolence, and I was able to crush through him for 74 and 71 banners. He did have an interesting Bando squad with a Relic L3. I figured I'd bring in my Bando squad to mirror it. It ended up being a timeout because I just wasn't able to get enough damage done with Bando, Queel, and Lando to get through L3. I almost got there, as you can see, but it just wasn't quite there. I brought my Maul against JTR, which I believe is one of the highlights. Yes, it is one of my highlights. For 61 banners, this worked really well, and this is not a great Maul team. Now, this is not a great JTR team, but there is a Relic on here. There is a Gear 11, Gear 10, and then the Resistance heroes are not to be trifled with. I brought in my Bad Batch versus Mon Mothma and my JKL to clean up that L337. Was super easy. I ended up not even using my Malak. And then this guy on defense, he tried to mirror my Ewoks and lost. I'm not even sure what he was doing, but he got the Elder out, making it a lot easier to clean up. He brought in his kind of crappy troopers to clean it up for 42 banners. My Geos laid waste to his Jawas, and then stole a ton of banners from his Traya. He used Padme against my GG, and did pretty decently, 60 banners. I stole most of their protection. He brought his Vader lead against my Bounty Hunters, and that was a big mistake. They crushed his Vader lead, and then he brought in his Geos, which he should have done from the beginning, and beat them pretty handily, 43 banners. He would have got 63 had he done that originally. He brought in his Gas against my Padme and lost. If you're trying to take Gas against my Padme, you need full relics on everybody. And there's a couple of G12s. Oh, these were all G12, actually, if I remember correctly. He tried EP and Mara against my Mon Mothma team. My Mon Mothma team is not modded very well, but my Kyle Katarn is actually kind of quick, and so is my POW. So I'm sure they just got out in front for, yeah, in a $137, they beat that EP. Then he brought his Bounty Hunters against my Rebel Rubbish, whatever. Then he brought Sidious and Sith with Zam against Mon Mothma, couldn't beat it. Tried his GG against Padme, couldn't beat it, and his CLS against Padme, and couldn't beat it. Alright, this is the fight with Maul against JTR. This is not a particularly beefy JTR team, but it seemed to be pretty easy. This might be my new counter to JTR for the time being. I'm able to get the 5 stacks of Anguish really early. I start by trying to hit JTR with the mass assist. Here's where I do it. I realize how little damage I'm actually doing to her, so I start taking out the side characters. I'm able to crush through them very quickly. And then once JTR is on her own, I'm able to just completely smoke her. Super easy fight. Alright, this matchup was against, I don't know how to read that. I'm assuming those are Chinese script. I'm not certain, but I think that's what this is. He's in a tiny guild. His Legacy GAC stats are pretty good. 2,400 wins to 600 defense. That's really low, so I knew he placed a pretty light defense. He had a good amount of clears, a good amount of undersizes. This is a person that takes GAC very seriously. His speeds are below mine, but he has more Zetas, a lot more gear than me. His mods are subpar, but honestly, aside from the 25 plus speed mods, they're pretty close. He's within 10 on each of these categories. Only 20 more relics than me, not bad. But he has JML and SLKR, which I do not have. He has JKL, obviously. No Bando. His Maul was kind of weak. His Nest is pretty decent. His GG has kind of low-ish health. And a 6-star Malevolence, a slow Darth Revan. His Cat is really nothing to speak of, no Maul. His Piet is okay, I guess. No real Gideon to speak of, and no real Bad Batch. He does not have Executor, but he does have the Negotiator. Now, this was a tough matchup for me. I botched this one pretty badly, a couple of ways. So on offense, I had to use EP Vader again against Geos because my Traya just can't handle these really good Geos. I brought my Bad Batch against Jyn Erso. This will be my boner of the week right here. Jango Fett lead against JKR. I should have won this fight, but I fucked up. I shot the... I was trying to kill Jolie to prevent reviving, but it was with the execute from Boba Fett, and I didn't kill Jolie, and I could have killed Bastila. So I could have made this much easier on myself, but I fucked up. Night Sisters versus GG, got 60 banners, easy. Another Maul versus JTR. This was a much heavier JTR squad, but I was still able to beat it in a minute and a half for 51 banners. I lost all the supporting cast, but Maul's damage was ramping up so much that I was able to just eventually slaughter right through it. I brought my JKR, JKL in against SLKR, and I was able to clear everything else. Then I had heard that Geos can clean up SLKR, but my Geos are weak, and they did not do very well. In fact, I was worse off afterwards than I was before. So then I brought in CLS to clean it up. I got it down. Easy. This is only the second or third time I've been able to beat an SLKR on defense, so I was still happy with it. You had Bounty Hunters, which I beat with gas for 64 banners. His fleets were easy. Put Chimera and Tarkin on the back walls, and I brought my Malevolence and my Chimera for 72 and 69 banners, respectively. I had to go clean up this JKR team, and I had to use my troopers to do it, which left me nothing with these Night Sisters. And I was shocked at how easily my troopers were able to beat this preloaded JKR team. I thought they would be screwed, and I was screwed. But I was able to beat it, but that left me nothing for Night Sisters. So I tried Boba Fett sign a Django lead with Bam, Queel, IG-11, and Lando. I really wasn't able to do much, and I got the loss. And I was not expecting this dude to put up as much of a fight as he did, but he brought his Malik against my Old Republic, soloed him easily for 68. Took JKL against my Darth Revan and beat it easily for 66. He brought his gas against my GG, and I was apparently able to make him sit down and cause a sacrifice. So I stole a few banners here. It wasn't bad. He brought his Rolo against my Treya. I'm not entirely certain what he was thinking, but it worked, and he got 60 banners. He brought his Geos against my crappy Mon Mothma team. This is how I would handle my Mon Mothma team. Geos are not hard to gear up. Taking out Geos, or taking out Mon Mothma with Geos, is easy, especially at the gear levels I got him at. He brought his troopers against my Ewoks. He brought CLS against my Padme and was able to beat it pretty handily. EP Vader against Qui-Gon Jinn. That's a win for me, in my opinion. Using EP Vader takes it away from something else. He smoked my crew with Padme. Smoked my JTR with his Mon Mothma. This isn't even a great Mon Mothma squad. Beat up my Rebel Rubbish with Hux. And then lost to the Executor here. And if I had saved enough... Actually, I really screwed this matchup because I was planning on bringing my Darth Revan on offense, but I forgot I had set it on defense. So my entire offensive plan went to shit. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. I actually lost this one 960 to 1471. Alright, this is the boner of the week right here. I brought in my Django lead bounty hunters to take out this JKR, and I failed pretty miserably. Django's contract is triggered when you attack enemies that have debuffs, and they all start up with tenacity up. So I end up losing IG-88 right off the rip here. They've got tenacity up, they've got foresight, there's nothing I can do. I'm basically screwed to begin with. I could have made this easier on myself. We'll see here in a second. When Boba takes his next turn, I was thinking I could kill Jolie to prevent him from reviving, when I could have just killed Bastila here after this one. Oh, after Django's turn here. Yep, there we go. So I could have tried to take Bastila out with the execute, prevented her from being revived, and then gone after Jolie. But I screwed up. I tried to kill Jolie, almost didn't quite, and then here we go. They start rolling downhill, take everybody out, and there's nothing I can do. This sucks to watch. I was very upset with myself. This cost me the entire match, and I was very upset that this happened. And boom, dead. Alright, this is my trooper cleanup of JTR. I was afraid that this was not going to work out very well because of the preloaded turn meter, but my Gideon and my Piet are relatively quick. My other troopers are tanky enough. I was able to take the first volley of hits. I trigger Savior here on Ezra right away and almost kill him before the next turn. So then I'm able to go after Jolie to prevent the revives. Clear all their buffs here, get some fears going, and then it's all downhill from here. Once I get the turn meter, troopers just crush JKR if under the right circumstances, and I did not believe that these were the right circumstances, but it ended up working out very well in my favor. Yeah, kill JKR here, Bastila's gone, and Yoda's gone. Alright. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys like what I do, and if you do, you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/TheLysol. I usually stream at about 6 a.m. Eastern Time every day. I try to post my Grand Arenas to YouTube the next day, and I will be trying to do these recaps at the end of every week, probably Fridays. I try to do some other content, but life gets in the way sometimes, so it's kind of sporadic what I get done. Anyway, so if you like this channel, please subscribe, like, comment, do all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next one.